Good morning. This is VirtualPBX admin training. This training will last about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on load times. We do record these trainings, so if you can't stay for the whole time, that's fine. You can always come back later. You can also share this link with other staff members who need to be system admins. This training mostly focuses on telling you where things are and brief descriptions. Uh, in the show notes, you'll see links to the support pages, which you can use to search on a particular feature, as well as a couple other links for commonly asked things or things that have their own videos. And with that, it's 10 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. To get logged in, you need to go on your browser to dash.virtualpbx.com. And on that page, to log in, we need your email address, which should be in all lowercase letters, your password, which is case sensitive, and your account name, which is typically your organization name. If that doesn't work, just above the sign-in bar here, we have a forgot your info link. You would click on that. And we need the email address still, so that in all lowercase letters, and then one of the two. So either the account name or a phone number on the account, and then click on reset password. This will send you an email. Follow the instructions in the email. This will let you change your password and then logs you back out. So then you're back on this login page, log in with that new password. You do have the option to click on Remember Me and then get signed in. And then once you get signed in, you're here on your dashboard page. Up at the top, you have your name. You click on that, or you can click on that. It opens a big pop-up. It starts you off on your user account page. So this is where you would go to change your password. As a system admin over on the left, you can click on account and you can adjust the account level settings. The main thing that people change is the time zone. You have this pull down here where you can search for New York, Chicago, Denver, or Los Angeles, at least for the United States. As an admin, you can also manage the add-ons for the account. This includes things like multiple auto attendants, text forward, advanced reporting, among others. We have the billing portal, and this link here, this takes you to the billing portal itself. That's where you would go to change your payment information or see previous invoices. Any system admin can also click on the cancel account here on the left, and then click on the red cancel button here. There's some forms to fill out, and this will close the account at the end of the current billing cycle. So once your billing cycle ends, the account closes, and then you get your final bill. When you're done in this area, over here at the top right, click on close, and you're back on the dashboard. To the right of your name, there's a D&D toggle. That stands for do not disturb. Mine is currently active, meaning my user is not accepting calls. They're just going to voicemail. Little phone icon here. This opens a new tab, takes you to webphone.virtualpbx.net. This has its own login, or this uses your dash login information to log in. It will only work, however, if you have a web phone device on your user. This allows you to use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari on a computer to make and receive calls. The little speech bubble icon here, this opens up a new tab, takes you to virtualtext.app. That page has its own login information, and that is how you make use of the virtual text feature. Little question mark icon, this opens up a chat window at the bottom right of your browser so you can speak with our support team, so they'll help you with a feature you're working with. The hamburger icon, these three horizontal lines, this is the menu icon. This will get you to other dash features, which we'll be covering later. And the little arrow to the right is the logout icon. Down here in the middle, total users, I have 5 users. Means I have 5 people on my account who make and receive calls. Then further down, total devices, and a breakdown to the kinds. These three here, the soft phone, web phone, and SIP phone, these are all VoIP devices. So that's something to be aware of. You could be charged for those. Total numbers, I have 14. And then a breakdown of, or the two breakdowns here, assigned numbers and spare numbers. Assigned numbers is a number in use. Spare number is just, I haven't assigned it to like a user or main number yet. Then I have USDID and US toll free. USDID is just a US local number. US toll free is 888 or 800 numbers all the way down to 833. Conference bridges, I have enabled the conference feature on 3 of my users. Over here to the top right, these 3 main numbers, they all go to the same part of my system. They're all playing the same main greeting. Conference number, you can have multiple conference numbers if you want. They all go to the same set of conference rooms. This allows you to enable the conference feature on users once you have a number assigned here. The fax box number, you can have one main fax box number, and this is your inbound fax number. The company directory, there's 2 links here. The first is CSV. Just download this file, open it with your favorite spreadsheet program. It's going to have all your users with their names, their email addresses, their extensions, their devices. The soft phone link is for use with the VirtualPBX desktop soft phone application. So if you're using our soft phone app on a Mac or Windows PC, you can download this file and upload it to your VirtualPBX soft phone. And in the contact list, you'll see the other users with their VirtualPBX soft phones and the status of their VirtualPBX app soft phones, i.e. if they're on a call or not. VirtualPBX Store, this opens up a new tab, takes you to store.virtualpbx.com, where you can order things like VoIP phones. And the account realm is unique to each account. It's one of 3 pieces of information you would need to program or provision a third-party soft phone, as well as needed for outbound faxing, which we'll get to later. We're going to go back up here to the top of this blue bar, the caller ID. This is a button you can click. This pull down lets you select one of your main numbers. This becomes your default number on the account. It's what your VoIP phones use for their outbound caller ID by default, which will allow them to make an outbound call. Hold music, this lets you upload a media file, .wav, .mp3, up to 1 megabyte in size. You just click the upload button and click on browse to find the relevant file, and then the up arrow icon. This becomes the hold music by default for all your staff. Now, this is after a call has come into your system. Your staff members have picked up a call on their VoIP phone and then press hold on their VoIP phone. That's when this media file plays. Hours is part of main number, but let's get some other things set up before we go dive into the main number. So over here on the left, I'm going to click on users. Here is our user page, shows all the users on the account. The people with the blue suit icon, these are your system admins. The people with the gray person icons are your standard users. Up here at the top, you click on add user and you fill out the form. The main thing is the email address used for login needs to be unique for each user. This is how the system communicates with your staff. Password resets, voicemail notifications, etc. Create a password, give them an extension number. The system automatically creates a voicemail box for the user. You can choose to have them in the user directory and you can change that later. You can have those emails sent to a different address, and if you want to do that, you would click on the box here, enter that different email address in the box provided. You can also change that at any time. And then the option to send credentials to the user. If you have this checked, once you click on these buttons at the bottom, that new user gets sent an email welcoming them to the Dash account, as well as providing them their credentials. Once the user is created, you can click on their name. You can adjust their name if you need to. This is where you would adjust their credentials, right? Their email address or their password. You can change their voicemail box PIN number. Here's the alternate address. Here's in the user directory. This pull down right here just changes a user into an admin or an admin down to a user. The little clock icon changes the time zone for the user, excuse me. The little flag icon changes the displayed language for the user. Extension box, users can have multiple extension numbers if you want them. Click on Add Extension Number, enter that new extension, save changes. Users can have their own phone numbers. Main thing to remember is a phone number assigned to a user, or to a group for that matter, is available 24/7. There's no hours of operations. For the complete instructions on adding a phone number in the show notes, use that support page link and do a search for adding a phone number or DID phone numbers. Next up, we have the device box for the user. We do recommend adding devices directly to the user. It just saves you a step. Here, I'm only going to cover adding a soft phone. Whenever you add a soft phone or web phone, you get this warning message. Please read it at least once. Here, it starts off as a third-party soft phone. So if you're using someone else's soft phone app, you want to copy down this information. If you're using the VirtualPBX soft phone, where it says View Configuration Guide, right below it is a toggle, which defaults you say use third-party application. But if you click on it, it flips it, so now it's a VirtualPBX application. So now you just need to give it a name. Click on Create Device down here, and then Save Changes. Once you click on Save Changes, the user gets an email saying the VirtualPBX soft phone is ready. In the body of the email are links to download the app to the relevant device, as well as a username and password to log into their soft phone, which is completely different than what they use to log into the dashboard or the website. Now, in the show notes, you can look at the auto provisioning guide, which will cover the SIP phones that are supported on the system, or you can just use the support page link to look up the specific kind of device you're looking to add. User features, caller ID number. This is for users with their own phone number. If you enable it, the phone number on the user becomes their outbound caller ID for their VoIP phones instead of the main number. The voicemail box. Voicemail boxes can hold up to 100 messages. After that, they're full. By default, you can log into the system under the menu icon. The user portal will take you directly to your own user portal and defaults to your voicemail, so you can listen to it via the website, or you can call into your extension and listen to voicemails over the phone. Both of those methods also allow you to manage your voicemail box, i.e. you can delete messages. Follow me. This is for users with multiple devices. This user has 3 devices, so right now when calls come to them, all 3 of the devices ring. If I don't want that for that user, I would enable this feature, and then I tell the system which devices to make use of by unchecking them and then giving them a ring time. I can also click distribute to equalize the total ring time between these 2 devices. That total ring time you can adjust over here on the far right. And then you can click distribute again. You can also click and drag to change the order that they're going to ring in. And then you would click on Save Changes. One thing to note about the Follow Me setting is that calls from a group that come to this user ignore the Follow Me setting, so all their devices would ring. Fax box, this allows you to create a fax box for the user so they can send and receive their own faxes. You have the option of adding a phone number for that fax box or a new extension number. Conference bridge, this allows the user to host or moderate a conference. Call forwarding, this is allowing for call forwarding, especially useful for users who only have VoIP phones. You can have failover mode that you set up for them. Otherwise, they can set up call forwarding via the user portal. Customized call recording, this allows you to record inbound and outbound calls to the user. Music on hold lets you upload custom hold music for each user. Do not disturb lets you put a user on do not disturb. Hot desking is a VoIP phone feature and allows a user to log into the VoIP phone that they're sitting at, i.e. they don't have a set desk, so they can come in to a shared desk, log into the phone, and get their calls there. Oops. All right, groups, also called ring groups or hunt groups, essentially departments. Up here at the top, you would click on Add Group. You need to give it a name. You need to give it an extension number, and then you click and drag the staff members you want to be in the group, and then you would click on Create Group. Once a group is created, you can click on its name. If you need to change the name, easy enough to do. The group call attempts is how many times the system will offer the call or incoming call to the members of the group. Little arrows here where you can increase and decrease that as you need to. Here's your option to delete a group if you no longer need it. Otherwise, you would click on Save Changes. The members box, this shows who you've assigned to the group and how calls are being offered to them. All right, so this is just offering calls in order. These are ring times, so I can adjust these sliders. Oops. And I can do something like this so that I can set it up. This would be a blast ring or ring all. If I don't like that particular order, right, I can click and drag and you click distribute, and you have the ring time over here to adjust as well. If you need to add more people to a group, that's down here at the bottom left. You just click and add new staff members. If you need to remove someone, you would click on the remove button. And then click on Save Changes if you've made any changes. Extension box, you can have multiple extension numbers for a group if you want to. Phone number, just like under users, this phone number is available 24/7. By numbers is adding a new number to the account. Spare numbers is a number you're not currently using. Group features, there's only a couple of these, so I'll run through these fairly quickly. Ring back, when you enable it, it plays a hold music file or media file until your staff members pick up. So you can upload .wave.mp3 file. The system will not loop the file for you. So you want to make sure that this file, the duration of it, matches or exceeds the total ring time of your group. Next action, if no one picks up, what do you want the system to do? Right, so first you enable, and then this pull down, you select where you're sending the caller. It can be a voicemail box, it can be another group, it could be a user, it could be a specific device, etc. And then save changes. Allow call forward. If you enable this, that means your users can make use of call forwarding. Either not at their normal VoIP phone, calls will be forwarded out. Call ID prepend. This is a VoIP phone feature where you can add either letters or numbers in front of the call ID that shows up on your staff members' VoIP phones, right, to give them a heads up about the kind of call they're getting. All right, so with users and devices, or with devices and groups, we can go to main number. Main company numbers, right? These are the default numbers people are dialing to get a hold of your staff. You can, again, add numbers down here at the bottom. If you don't need a number to be a main number any longer, or anywhere really, you would unassign that number. Now, unassigning a number does not delete the number from your account. It just puts it in spare. Also, every number has a little gear icon where you can update the caller ID E911 or prepend. Office hours, you can be open 24/7 or have custom office hours. If you choose custom, for each day of the week that you're open, put a check mark in front of that day and then set your open hours in 24-hour or military time. You also have the option to be closed for lunch at the same time every day. Just put a check mark here and then enter your lunch hours again in that 24-hour or military time. And then click on Save Changes. Office holidays, if you're closed for holidays, put a check mark here. And then, oops, on the far right, click on Add Holiday. You have the options for single day, date range, and advanced. Each one creates a new row, and you fill out the row. Save changes. If you need to remove a holiday, click on the little trash icon and then save changes. Incoming call handling. So for your main numbers, this is how the system handles your calls during your open hours, during your after hours, or during your holidays. The options are basically the same. So calls come in to your virtual receptionist. This is a link that you can click on. Your menu options are what people press on their phones to navigate through your phone system. We click on Add Route to give yourself more menu options. You have 0 through 9, the star key, and the default action. And the second pull down is anything you've created on your system, users, groups, voicemail boxes, etc. If you don't need a menu option, click on the X here to remove it. Over here on the right, greetings. This is where you say thank you for calling, and then you want to use the greeting to give instructions, right? Where you're telling press 1 for sales, 2 for support. The system does not create a greeting for you based on what you add in the main menu. You actually have to type out what the greeting says in the case of text to speech. Upload your own file, .wav.mp3 file up to 1 megabyte. Choose from existing recordings. This shows all your media files from the pull down there. You can record it over the phone. By default, the system wants you to use a VoIP phone on the account. You don't have a VoIP phone handy, then under the settings, you want to come down here to where it says allow outside recording. Click that on. So now you can call in from any phone number to record over the phone. The system still wants you to use your PIN number. This PIN number is specific to this time of day on this account, right? So this only works during my open hours, i.e. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Anything outside of that, this PIN number will not work. Professional recording services, when you click order, this opens a new tab and takes you to Snap Recordings, which is a separate company. And you can order a professionally done recording there. They'll email you the completed file, so then you would just come here to upload. Under settings, number of tries on or retries on missed dial is how many times your inbound caller can make a mistake. Typically, you need anywhere from 1 to 3 in the field provided. The inbound caller automatically has 1 built-in attempt. So anything you enter here is on top of that, right? So my callers have 2 attempts on this case. Dialing timeout is how much time the system listens for additional button presses for when people are entering multiple digit extension numbers. That allow dialing extensions, by default, this is on, and this just means if someone enters a valid extension number, the system will transfer the call. If you turn this off, they can only press your menu options. Suppress the playing of invalid entry. So when a caller calls in and they make too many mistakes, the system says we don't recognize your entry. If there's no default action, it says goodbye. At that point, there's probably no reason to have that message, or it's good reason to keep that message going. If you have a default action, you may want to have the suppression on so that message doesn't play and it just says transferring your call. Any changes you make to your main menu, your greetings, or your settings, you need to click save down here at the bottom right, and then you need to click save changes when you come back here to incoming call handling. Now for my after hours, I'm using the second option, and this is a live operator answer option. Essentially, this pull down lets you choose something on your system, a user, a group, or a device, for example, that it tries to ring to first. If it's picked up, great, call is being handled. If it's not, then the caller is sent to the virtual receptionist. This is my after hours, so I have different options and a different greeting, but beyond that, same concept. For our holidays, I'm using this third option. This first pull down, something on your system, users, groups, etc. There's also the additional option of just skip the voicemail. Second pull down is any voicemail box on the system, and then you would click on save changes. Conference number, you can add multiple conference numbers if you want. You can also click on custom greeting, click to enable, and type in a text-to-speech greeting to welcome people to your conference. Your main fax box number, you can add 1 main fax box number, and once you have one, you can edit the fax box. Inbound notification email, in the box to the right, you enter in an email address. That email address gets a message every time a fax is completed. It will also get a message when a fax does not get completed, i.e. someone dials your fax box number and hangs up. Email permissions, you can put either an email address in the box to the right or your company's email domain. If you use a company domain, That means anyone at your organization can send a fax out on the account, even if they're not a user on the account. To do so, they would create an email from their work email address. And in the to field of that email, they put +1 area code and phone number, no spaces, dashes, or parentheses, then the @ symbol, and then the account realm. Then they would attach a PDF or TIFF file and send. The system will not send anything that you put in the subject line or anything you type in the body of the email. It's looking at the to field, the from field, and the attachment. One recipient per email, one attachment per email, and you're all set. All right, over here on the left, auto attendance. This is an add-on or plan-specific option. This allows you to create multiple attendants, whether you're using that for like menu options or additional menu options, so you want several menu options or separate businesses. Up here at the top, you would click on Add Attendant, give it a name, give it an extension number, click on Create Attendant. By default, when you create an attendant, it starts off as unavailable main menu. So if you want it to be a menu option off of your virtual receptionist, for instance, you would click on this to toggle it to be available in main menu and then save changes. Auto attendants can have their own phone numbers. Just add from spare or by new. There's a little wrench icon here under settings. You have open hours, after hours, and holidays. This matches what you set under your main number, but all three go to a virtual receptionist, so you would set up menu options and greetings, etc. The devices tab shows your devices on the account. Red means it's unregistered, so we can't send calls to it. Green means we can. You can add devices directly here. You just can't assign them anywhere. Also for your VoIP phones, little wrench icon here. And under advanced, the emergency caller ID, any phone number that you've associated an address to, you can assign to the VoIP phone. That VoIP phone will use that address if it ever has to call out to 911. Right? This is the address that gets transmitted to emergency services. Greetings. This shows all your media files on the account. Up here at the top, you would click on Add if you want to upload a new one. Just give it a name. Click on Browse to find a .wav or MP3 file. And then click on Create Greeting, and it will upload it here. Name, it's what the name is. TTS is a source, text to speech. Upload means you uploaded the file. Recording means it was recorded over the phone. You have this play icon or play column. You can click on the little play button here to play back the greeting directly in your browser. You can also download the greetings, which I recommend for your main greetings, so you have a backup copy. And then the little edit wrench here, this allows you to change the name of a file so it's something more easily recognized, or you can just delete it if you no longer need it. Numbers takes you to your numbers in use. This just shows you where they're assigned. You got the gear icon to update caller ID and E911. Spare numbers, these are numbers you're not currently using. If you want to delete one of these, you would click on the box in front of it, click on the delete link up here, and then click on delete numbers to confirm the deletion. You can also buy numbers to add more spare numbers here. Port is where you would start the port process, meaning you're moving a phone number from another carrier to VirtualPBX. You would just follow the on-screen instructions. If you want to preview that before going through the whole process, use that support page link and do a search for porting. Voicemail boxes shows all the voicemail boxes on the account. Anything that has information under the user column was created when the user was created. You can create additional voicemail boxes up here at the top. Give it a name, a voicemail box number and PIN number. Click on Create Voicemail Box. Main thing to know is the voicemail box number is not the same as an extension number. So entering, say, 3333 from my virtual receptionist will not get to this voicemail box. Now, if I make a menu option go to this voicemail box, that would work. You use the voicemail box number and PIN number to call into the voicemail box to listen to messages into it, as well as to update its greeting over the phone. Under advanced greeting media, you can upload a, a voicemail greeting directly to the voicemail box, right? .wave, .mp3, up to 1 MB in size. The temporary would be used for out of office or vacation messages, so it allows you to have a second message on your voicemail box. However, if temporary has something selected here, only the temporary file plays, the media file would stop playing, right? The media file will not play again until I set the temporary back to none. Recipients, every voicemail box that you create for the users, right, or whenever you create a user, that voicemail box has a built-in recipient, the email address you should log in. But for any voicemail box, you can come to this page and add additional recipients. Just enter the email address and then add and keep clicking that until you're done, and then save changes. Once you have a greeting media and you have got recipients, you can click on already set up. By default, we attach messages to email. You can make sure that's there. If you don't want a voicemail box to ever become full, you can also choose to delete after notification. Virtual Text Forward is an add-on. This allows you to have phone numbers accept inbound text messages and forward them on. Virtual extensions are an add-on, a plan-specific feature. This allows you to create additional extension numbers without adding full users. They have some limitations, such as only one device, and they can't be part of a group or a queue because they're not users. Call logs, this shows your call history on the account. You have today, this week, this month, and custom lets you go back up to 1 year. You then click filter here. A green arrow to the right is a call coming into the system, and a yellow arrow to the left is an outbound call from the system. Little fire extinguisher icon here. This will create an email for you pre-addressed to support@virtualpbx.com and include the technical details of the call. You're going to want to type in the context about why you're sending it in, and then our support team will be able to review that. You can download your call logs. If you need to go back further than 12 months, you also need to contact our support team, and they'll need to create an escalation for you. Our engineers can only go back up to 18 months, though. Feature codes, these are ways for your VoIP phone users to access Dash features directly from their VoIP phone. This is a page here. If you go to the support page, you can do a search for feature codes as well as the phone commands cheat sheet. That's all in the dashboard. Call Center, this opens a new tab, takes you to callcenter.virtualpbx.com. It's a plan-specific feature to access call queues. In the show notes, you'll see the ACD QUEUES Pro demo. You can take a look at that. Queues are an advanced version of groups. There's more routing options. Users can log themselves in and out of the queue, among other things. Dynamic caller ID, this is an add-on or plan-specific feature. This allows you to create different rules to change the outbound caller ID for your VoIP phones to other phone numbers on your account. Faxes, this is your fax manager, so you can get to any fax box on the account, both for their inbound faxes and outbound faxes. Reports will open up a new tab, take you to reports.virtualpbx.com, which has its own login information. In the show notes, there should be a link for the advanced reporting demo. This allows you to create your own reports. Voicemails, this lets you get to any voicemail box on the account, i.e. you get a report that one of the voicemail boxes is full. This will allow you to get to that voicemail box and see what's going on. If there are messages, You can play them back. You can download them here on the far right. In the box in front, that allows you to either change its status or you can even move it to a different voicemail box. Integration AWS is a plan-specific feature. This allows you to link your Dash account to your own AWS account. This is what you would use, for instance, if you want to store call recordings with AWS, because you need to have a longer-term storage, for example. Blacklists. This allows you to create a list of phone numbers that you're blocking from reaching your staff. They just get a busy tone. Call recording. If you have AWS enabled, it would show your call recordings here. Otherwise, you would need to go to recordings.virtualpbx.com and use your Dash login to log into that page and view your call recordings there. Number Manager, this will take you back to your spare number page. User Portal, every user has access to their own user portal. It starts off on their voicemail tab. Again, they can play it back, they can download. They can also change the status of their email, of their voicemails. They just can't move it to a different voicemail box. Call history shows their call history. The fax tab would only work if they have their own fax box. The contact list shows everything on the Dash account, i.e., so they can help them transfer calls. Conference tab only works for users that you've enabled the conference feature on. They can update their PIN numbers over here on the far right. Settings on devices. Right here is where your staff members can enable call forwarding on their own. They just put a check mark here and then +1 area code and phone number they're forwarding to, and then save changes. Webhooks, plan-specific feature. This is some level of programming, but allows you to link your Dash account to other software. In the show notes, you can look at the Introduction to Zapier webinar, which covers some of webhooks. You can also go to developer.virtualpbx.com to see sample code of what we've done to link Dash to other software. And then SMS registration. This is what you need to go through to enable that virtual text feature. If you don't have this, you're going to want to reach out to our account services team because you may not be on the proper plan, or it may not have just been turned on if you are on the right plan. But you do want to read through this page. There's a link here at the very bottom, which goes to the step-by-step guide. The Start Registration tab. This tells you what you need, and then you can click on the Register button to start filling it out. And then the Registration Status tab will tell you where your registration is at in the process. You can also go to learn.virtualpbx.com or even do a search on our YouTube channel to see our series of webinars on virtual text and the registration process itself. And with that, that is everything. Haven't seen any questions pop up, so I'll go ahead and end the stream. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.